10 things the British do that confuse everyone else. For a country that shares its language with much of the world, Britain can feel like an entirely different universe. What seems like familiarity quickly gives way to cultural quirks, confusing habits, and social rituals that baffle newcomers. From tea to taps, from cues to coded speech, British life operates on an unspoken script. What follows isn't just a list, it's a journey through a culture where understatement rules, politeness is performance, and humour hides in plain sight. These are 10 things the British do that confuse everyone else, and they're oddly wonderful. 10. Talking about the weather, like it's global news. The British have turned weather talk into a daily ritual that borders on obsession. Rain, shine, clouds, or wind. No matter the season or forecast, you can guarantee that it will be commented on. A light drizzle is worth a full commentary. A bit of sun can spark mass disbelief. Even the blandest skies inspire conversation. For many cultures, talking about the weather is either filler or rare. In Britain, it's essential. It offers a neutral, non-invasive way to engage with strangers and diffuse tension. To outsiders, it may seem like meaningless chatter, but to the British, it's how you say hello without asking, "How are you really?" 9. Saying one thing and meaning something entirely different. If the British say, "That's interesting," it may not be a compliment. When someone remarks, "I'll let you know," the answer is likely no. These seemingly straightforward phrases often conceal a very different meaning beneath their surface. This is not rudeness in disguise. It's subtlety, carefully constructed to avoid offence. The culture of understatement runs deep. Politeness matters, but so does maintaining social balance, and this sometimes means burying true intentions under layers of implied meaning. For people from more direct cultures, this habit can be maddening. Yet once understood, it becomes part of the charm, like learning a local dialect where everything is spoken in code. 8. Forming cues, even when there's no need. Nowhere in the world does queuing hold such reverence as in the United Kingdom. The British will form an orderly line at a bus stop with no signage, barriers, or instructions. They will queue to use cash machines, to get into shops, even to board trains that don't depart for hours. But this isn't just about waiting, it's about fairness. A queue is democratic. It respects order and time. It doesn't matter if the weather is freezing or the line stretches down the street. Cutting the queue is taboo. Visitors often find this fascinating and baffling. But to the British, it's how society holds itself together, one orderly line at a time. 7. Installing 2 taps instead of 1. For those encountering a British bathroom for the first time, the sight of 2 separate taps, one scalding hot, the other icy cold, is genuinely confusing. Why not just mix the water like most of the world? The explanation lies in tradition, outdated plumbing codes, and resistance to change. Older homes and public buildings often retain the old system, where hot and cold water are delivered separately for safety reasons. But even in more modern homes, this setup persists. For visitors, washing your hands becomes a choice between freezing or burning. For the British, it's just how things have always been, and they'll cheerfully carry on. 6. Taking forever to say goodbye. Ending a conversation in Britain is never a simple task. There's the initial announcement, "Right, I'd best be off." But then there's a pause, another round of chat, a few polite phrases, maybe a compliment, and, eventually, perhaps minutes later, a handshake or a wave. Even then, the farewell can continue down the street, with both parties still exchanging parting remarks. What outsiders often interpret as delay or indecision is actually a socially accepted winding down process. The drawn-out goodbye avoids abruptness and reinforces good manners. It's one final nod to politeness before disappearing into the rain. 5. using pet names for total strangers. Walk into a shop in Yorkshire and you might be greeted with, "What can I get you, love?" Head further north and you'll hear pet, duck, or flower. Even in London, mate is tossed around with cheerful frequency. For many visitors, especially from more formal societies, being addressed so affectionately by strangers can feel overly familiar or even confusing. But in Britain, these terms aren't personal, they're communal. They create instant warmth, a soft bridge between people in everyday situations. These names are often rooted in region and class, but their message is the same. You're among people who don't take themselves too seriously. 4. Treating the pub like it's a second home. The British pub is more than a place to drink. It's a pillar of community life. It's where friends gather, where families go for Sunday lunch, where strangers bond over sports and laughter. Pubs aren't restricted to the young or the rowdy. They are multi-generational, welcoming, and deeply woven into the rhythm of British life. A big announcement? Let's meet at the pub. Lost your job? Pint at the pub. Just need a break from the world? The local pub will be there. For visitors from countries where drinking is more regulated or niche, this central role of the pub can feel strange. But in Britain, it's a social equaliser and a national comfort zone. 3. Taking tea more seriously than most religions. Tea in Britain is not just a drink, it's a ritual with its own etiquette. There's a proper way to brew it, a correct order for milk and sugar, and specific mugs that are deemed the good ones. In moments of celebration or crisis, tea is always the first response. Someone upset? Make tea. Awkward silence? Offer tea. House guests? Tea. The act of making and offering tea is deeply symbolic. It's the British way of showing care without words. Visitors may be shocked by how many cups are consumed in a single day, or how much emotional weight is carried in that steaming porcelain cup. In Britain, tea is comfort. It's connection. It's the answer to almost everything. 2. Hiding real emotions behind dry wit. One of the most enduring traits of British culture is the ability to mask real emotions with humour. Whether facing hardship or embarrassment, many Brits will meet the moment with a joke or a wry comment. Someone may be exhausted, but they'll say they're not dead yet. Another may be grieving, yet still make you laugh. This habit confuses outsiders, especially those from emotionally expressive cultures, where openness is a sign of trust. In the UK, restraint is strength, and humour is the shield. Sarcasm, irony, and self-deprecation are the tools used to navigate awkwardness, vulnerability, and social discomfort. To understand Britain, you must first understand its humour. It is the country's emotional language, delivered with a straight face. 1. Mastering the art of never saying what they mean. The most baffling habit of all may be the British tendency to dance around the truth, especially when things become uncomfortable. Directness is often avoided in favour of implication. If a service is terrible, a British person might say, "It was interesting." If they are disappointed, they'll likely say, "Could have been better." Even complaints are wrapped in pleasantries. "I'm not quite sure that's correct," may be code for "this is completely wrong." This behaviour isn't deception, it's discretion. It stems from a cultural emphasis on politeness, emotional control, and saving face. For people from cultures that value frankness, the British approach can feel maddeningly elusive. But beneath the carefully chosen words lies a deeply rooted desire to keep things civil, respectful, and quietly understood. British culture is a beautiful puzzle of politeness, understatement, and hidden depth. What confuses outsiders often delights them over time. From their tea rituals to their coded speech, these 10 things the British do that confuse everyone else reveal a nation that values charm over clarity, and always with a cup in hand. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.